Hey everyone. I'm sure that you are still drinking from the fire hose of information and new stuff that Musk is trying to do to Twitter. But somewhere in that, we perhaps have failed to realize that it's not only Twitter, it's also the other big, in fact, bigger social network, which is Facebook. Both of them seem to be in disarray. They seem to be floundering. In fact, for Twitter, Liz Truss's famous lettuce has come back, and they've put the lettuce next to the Twitter bird to see which of those lasts longer. So, is it like the end of these social network empires? There was a historian called Edward Gibbon who wrote this famous, huge book, a six book series called The Decline and the Fall of the Roman Empire. And he said that the story of its ruin is simple and obvious. And instead of inquiring why the Roman Empire was destroyed, we should rather be surprised that it subsisted so long. Now, is this true for Facebook and Twitter? So when Gibbon wrote his book, he kind of summarized it and he said, after a diligent inquiry, I can discern four principal causes for the ruin of Rome. One, the injuries of time and nature. Two, the hostile attacks of the barbarians and the Christians. Three, the use and abuse of materials. And four, the domestic quarrels of the Romans. Now, if I think of these four and apply them to a modern context, perhaps these are the four reasons that the empire, the social network empires, are also declining and maybe will fall. So, kind of let's analyze them using these four, or let's unpack them using these four reasons. One, the injuries of time and nature. The dark secret of social networks is that can be great money making, money printing machines. As long as they're cool, everyone is there, and as long as all your cool friends are also there. They grow and thrive on network effects, which is actually governed by a famous law called Metcalfe's law, which says that the value of communication network is proportional to the square of the number of connected users of the system. And so networks grow exponentially. But when new users stop coming in, they stagnate and they decline suddenly. Before Facebook and Twitter, there were others, 6 degrees, if you remember, High Five, Orkut, MySpace, even Google Plus. But users came, users went, and these networks became a ghost town. Facebook is facing that. For the first time in its recorded history, daily active users actually dropped by 500,000. It still has a large number of users, but this was the first time it actually saw a drop. And more importantly, its teen and young adult users have been declining since 2013. Twitter's injuries obviously seem to be far more self-inflicted as Musk takes a hatchet to it and drives away its very lifeblood, the advertisers. Two, from the Roman Empire, the hostile attacks of the barbarians and the Christians. Well, the barbarians at Facebook's gate is certainly TikTok, snatches away both the younger users and their attention. The entire economy of social networks is what is called the attention economy. And this is shifting firmly to TikTok as it becomes the single most downloaded app and has users reportedly spending 10x of the time than they do on Facebook. From a barbarian perspective, the first known king of the barbarians was called Alaric I. He was the nemesis of the Roman Empire. And for the empire of Twitter, Alaric seems to be reborn as Elon Musk, single-handedly battling to hew the network in its own image, in his own image. Well, the other barbarians could be the bots, which are just undermining the very business model of Twitter. And it's not only the barbarians, it's the Christians too. The death blow to Facebook actually might have come from none other than Apple with its iOS version 14.5. This version requires users to give explicit content for device-based and user-level data monitoring by apps like Facebook. And this hammer blow resulted in a $10 billion loss of advertising revenue for Facebook, almost 9% of its total 2021 revenue. Third, if you remember from Edward Gibbon, the use and abuse of materials. Now, Mark Zuckerberg has spent close to $13 billion of his company's money, its materials, to build this dream of his, the metaverse, but with nothing to show of it in revenues or users. Investors, analysts, other stakeholders are enraged as they witness what they think is an open abuse of his power. Well, Zuckerberg has his reasons. He wants to escape the tyranny of the platforms of Google's and Apple's apps. He wants the younger users back. He wants to leave a legacy beyond his social network. Musk too seems to have his reasons, as he abuses the power of his 150 million followers and his sole ownership of the company. Four, and final, the domestic quarrels of the Romans. Now, Musk has definitely quarreled a lot. He has shed more than half his staff, planning to shed more, fired anyone who has quarreled with him, even in a little bit. Studio ultimatum to employees resulted in the company hanging by a thread. Zuckerberg is quite notorious for brooking no dissent too. He's purged his original co-founders, his top lieutenants, the founders of the companies he acquired, significantly WhatsApp, and reportedly of his second in command, his COO. These are all well known. So it's quite possible that both these emperors emerge triumphant, and the reports of the deaths of their empires might be greatly exaggerated. After all, going back to the Roman Empire, the Roman historian Tacitus said that great empires are not maintained by timidity, and these new emperors are being anything but timid. So here's my lesson in history from the Roman Empire as applied to the social network empires. Would be interesting to see what your take on this is. Until next time.